Hello everyone, and today we're going to discuss Macbeth Act 1, Scene 4. So before we go into the line by line explanation, first let's go through the overview of the scene. So this scene takes place in the royal palace in Forres, and in the beginning King Duncan is enquiring if the Thane of Cawdor is executed. That is when his son Malcolm says that he has received news that yes, the Cawdor has been executed, and he also expressed regret or remorse for showing treachery against King Duncan. And when it was time for him to die, he died nobly and gave away his life like it did not mean anything to him. Then Macbeth and Banquo enter the palace, and King Duncan thanked them for their service and heroism in the battle. After that, King Duncan announces that his elder son, who is Malcolm, will become the future king. Listening to this news, Macbeth is not too happy. He now believes that now Malcolm has come between him and his crown. Then King Duncan expresses his wish to dine in Macbeth's castle. So then Macbeth leaves early to inform his wife that King Duncan would be coming there to dine. And then the scene ends. So I hope you got an idea of what happens in this scene. Now let's go into the line by line explanation. So like I mentioned, scene 4 takes place in Forres in the palace. Enters King Duncan, Lennox, Malcolm, Donalbain and the attendants. King Duncan asks, is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned? So he's asking, is the former Thane of Cawdor executed? Is he killed? And are those who I had appointed to execute him not returned yet? Malcolm says, my liege means my lord, they are not yet come back. So they haven't come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons. So Malcolm says that they haven't come back yet, but he has spoken with someone who saw Cawdor die, and he said that Cawdor very openly confessed to his treasons. Implored your highness's pardon. That means begged for your forgiveness. And set forth a deep repentance. So, and then displayed deep remorse or regret. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that has been studied in his depth, to throw away the dearest thing he owed as it were a careless trifle. So Malcolm says nothing in his life was as noble as the way he died. He died like a man completely prepared to throw away the dearest thing that he owed. That means he was completely prepared of his death, and he was ready to throw away the most precious thing that he owned. What was the most precious thing that he owned? His own life. And he gave away his own life as if it was a very insignificant small thing. So first he displayed remorse or regret for the treason that he did, and he begged for forgiveness from the king. And then he died in the most noble way, where he was completely prepared for his death to throw away the most dearest thing that he owned, his life and he threw it away just like it was a very insignificant small thing in his life, a trifle. King Duncan says, there is no art to find the man's construction in the face. So here, King Duncan is saying there is no way or it is impossible to tell what's in a man's mind by looking at his face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. So King Duncan is saying, I absolutely trusted the former Thane of Cawdor and I had complete faith in him, but he betrayed me. So it is very ironical that here King Duncan is saying it is impossible to find what is happening in the mind of the man by looking at his face. And just then Macbeth and Banquo enters. Because here Duncan is saying, I really can't trust who will remain faithful and who will show treachery. And the same thing happens in the future where Macbeth becomes unfaithful. Okay. So enter Macbeth, Banquo, Ross, and Angus. Oh, worthiest cousin. So now King Duncan is happy to see Macbeth and he says, oh, my worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. I until now was feeling very guilty for not showing enough gratitude to you. And it was heavy on me means it was weighing me down. Thou art so far before. The swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. So King Duncan is saying that you have done so much so swiftly or so quickly that it has been impossible to reward you properly. Would thou hadst less deserved that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. So he's saying if you deserved less or if your achievements were less, then the proportion of my thanks, that is my gratitude and my reward would have been more. But that is not the case. You have achieved so much that my proportion of thanks and my reward is less as compared to what you have done for us. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay. So he says that I owe you more than I can ever repay to you. Macbeth says, the service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. So Macbeth is saying, the opportunity to do service to you and the loyalty that I feel towards you. In doing the service and the loyalty for you itself is the reward for me. Your Highness's part is to receive our duties. So he's saying, Your Highness, your duty is just to accept our duties or our services to you. However, our duties are to your throne and state. So Macbeth says that your duty is just to accept our service, but our duty is first towards your throne, is to the kingship and to the country. Like children and servants. So Macbeth is saying just like how children owe their duty to their father and how servants owe their duty to their master, we owe our duty towards you, the king. Which do but what they should by doing everything safe towards your love and honor. So finally Macbeth says that we are doing everything that we can do to protect you and we are only doing what we are supposed to do. That is what he's saying, which do but what they should. So we are only doing what we should do by doing everything to keep you safe and to protect you. Duncan says, welcome hither means you are welcome here. I have begun to plant thee and will labor to make thee full of growing. So he's saying that I am making you the Thane of Cawdor and I am planting you like a newly planted seed and I will help you grow. Then Duncan addresses Banquo and says, Noble Banquo, that has no less deserve, nor must be known, no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart. So he says, Noble Banquo, you are just as deserving as Macbeth, and everyone should know it. And he says, let me hold you close to my heart. Banquo says, there if I grow, the harvest is your own. So he says, if I accomplish anything great and grow, it will always be a benefit to you. King Duncan says, my plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. I am so full of joy and so overwhelmed by happiness that there are tears in my eyes. Sons, kingsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest. That means, and those who are closest to me. No, we will establish our estate upon our eldest Malcolm. So he's saying that I will bequeath my kingdom to my eldest son Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland. So King Duncan announces the heir to his throne and he has named Malcolm the Prince of Cumberland, which honor must not unaccompanied invest him only. So he's saying that he is not the only one who will gain new title. And the title of nobility will shine like stars on all those who deserve it. So King says Malcolm isn't going to be the only one who's receiving honors, but everyone who deserve them will receive the titles of nobility and that will shine like stars on all those who deserve it. Okay. Then King says to Macbeth, from hence to Inverness and bind us further to you. From here, let's go to your castle, he's telling Macbeth, which is in Inverness, and by doing so, I will be further in debt to you, or I will be further in obliged to you because of the hospitality that you will be providing us. Macbeth says, the rest is labor which is not used for you. So if I am taking rest and which is not useful for you, it feels like labor. So any effort for you does not feel like work at all. And I feel like it is a laborious work if I take rest which is not useful for you. I'll be myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearings of my wife. With your approach, so humbly take my leave. So he's saying that I will be the messenger myself and go and inform my wife because of your upcoming visit, and she will be delighted to hear the news that you would be coming. And he says, I humbly take my leave. Duncan says, my worthy Cawdor. Macbeth, who's alone, says, the Prince of Cumberland. That is a step. So we can see that Macbeth is affected by the news that King Duncan has announced his son as the heir of the throne. So he says, the Prince of Cumberland, that is an advanced honor that Malcolm has received, on which I must fall down or else overleap, for in my way it lies. Either he must give up to be the king, or else he must move above Malcolm, for he lies in his way. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be. Macbeth tells stars, please hide your brightness. So let not there be light, so that my evil intentions would be seen by others. And he also says that he won't let his eyes see what his hands will be doing or what horrible deeds his hands will be doing. But in the end, once the action is done, then his eyes would be forced to see what evil intentions his hands have done. King Duncan says, true worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant. So they're having a conversation, and Duncan says, you are absolutely right, Banquo. Macbeth is so valiant and brave. And he says that I am satisfied with the praises that I hear about Macbeth. And it is like a banquet to me, means when I listen to his praises, or by praising him, I myself benefit it, and it's like a big banquet to me. Let's after him. So he's saying that let's follow him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. So he has gone ahead so that he can prepare for our welcome. It is a peerless kinsman. So he's saying that he's a man without an equal. And they exit. And that's the end of the scene. I hope you found this video useful and you understood. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you to understand. Please share this among your friends, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you and God bless.